everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to be talking about Avenue 5. So James, how's it going?
Good. I watched the first 2 seasons of Psycho-Pass now.
Oh yeah?
I need to stop because it's too much dark content to be watching.
Okay.
Too much that I can handle. So I've switched over to a bunch of TVY7 content.
Nice. Can I counterbalance that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I have a bunch of TVY7 recommendations that I can go through.
Hit me with them.
You don't have anything to say before I go through them?
No, I'm real. I want to know. I want to know what all the light fluffy stuff you've been watching.
All right, here we go. TVY7's got some good content.
Okay.
Everything I'm going to talk about is on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also animated.
Sounds good.
First thing is The Dragon Prince,
Oh.
which a new season just came out, season 4.
Oh, I gotta catch up.
You have watched this, I believe.
Yeah. I think the first 3 seasons of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that season 4 came out, though, it's now called The Dragon Prince Mystery of Erebos, in case anybody was following and didn't know that the show changed name.
Weird, but okay. Okay.
Yeah. Season 4 just dropped on that. That show I like because it's made by one of the co-creators of The Dragon Prince was the head writer for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ah, and you're a big fan.
Yes. Have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I have.
Okay, good.
It took me multiple tries, but finally I did watch it front to back, and I did enjoy it. Yes.
Awesome. Very good. Very great TVY7 series, which also has a sequel series called The Legend of Korra, which I would guess that you liked Legend of Korra more than Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Okay.
Except I never finished it. I kind of forgot to.
Okay. Well, it's on Netflix, Sarah.
It's true.
It is easily available now. Back when I watched these shows, that you had to watch them on Nickelodeon.com.
Oh yeah.
They were in feuds with Nickelodeon about how they were being shown on TV. They were getting terrible time slots. It was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you can just watch them on Netflix. It's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Great content. And then a movie just hit Netflix that I remember seeing ads for called The Bad Guys, which is a bunch of animals that are considered to be scary, I guess, like wolves and snakes and spiders.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
They're a team of heist people who do heists and steal money because everybody thinks they're bad guys, basically, and they have no other choice.
I see.
They are bad guys, but they go for a reformation and stuff.
Decide to not be bad guys. Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Giving me Wreck-It Ralph vibes.
Yeah, and it's a weird. I thought it was going to be like Zootopia, where all the characters are animals, but no, there are just humans in this world. Yeah, they're just talking animals. That what's the word for it? It's I don't know. There's a word for animals that appear like humans.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, very silly. I liked it.
Okay.
So yeah, and maybe end of the podcast might have something picked out that's TVY7.
Okay.
And I have not checked, but I would guess that we have not done a show that was rated TVY7.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I'm feeling good.
Has it revitalized you? You feel better after all that dark content?
All the fun times. I enjoy the fun times more than the dark times when I'm watching TV. Even though the dark stuff can be interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, Sarah?
I'm feeling good. A little sad that, spooky season is over now, technically. But I did have a good movie day with my brother. Every year we have a movie marathon for spooky movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we watched Barbarian, which was good, and none of this is for you, James, but for anybody who's listening, if you're going to watch it, just try not to know anything about it. It's the best way to watch it. Then we watched The Black Phone, which was pretty all right. It's there's a guy kidnapping kids and murdering them in his basement.
It's great.
As it
great
goes.
Stuff.
But his latest victim he's keeping in his basement, and the ghosts of previous victims are trying to help this kid escape. But meanwhile, this kid's sister is having dreams and visions of stuff that might help her find him. And she's the sassiest little child. She like tells Jesus to fuck off at one point because like he's not giving her the right visions to find her brother. And I just love this small child. She's great.
I think I saw ads for that. That's like somewhat recent, right?
Yeah, I think it came out last year.
Okay.
And then the last one we watched was Bodies, 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 which has Pete Davidson in it. He's one of the SNL guys, and then there were other people I didn't recognize. Except for Lee Pace, who was the random, much too old guy who was there compared to all the like early 20-somethings that were getting murdered in this house.
Is that a comedy horror? I thought I saw ads for that.
Yeah, it is not that spooky. But yeah, I would say any of those spooky movies, if anybody is still in the mood for spooky season, they were a good time.
Nice.
I know, none of that's for you.
I'm out.
Sorry, James. But hopefully you are in on Avenue 5 because you had to watch 2 episodes of it.
We'll see.
You ready to talk about it?
Yeah.
You got a little breakdown for us?
Yeah, this
from
one's
the
pretty easy. I like this
Okay.
one. It's a sci-fi comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I put the rating in here since I was talking about the US. This one's TVMA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the IMDb page sums this up pretty good, I think.
Okay.
The troubled crew of Avenue 5, a space cruise ship filled with spoiled, rich space tourists, must try and keep everyone calm after their ship gets thrown off course into space and ends up needing 3 years to return to Earth. That's a pretty good summary of it.
Yeah, that sums it up
of a
really
ridiculous TV show. I think the real appeal of the show is the cast. I think the cast on the show is really, really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of well-known and really good people in it, I'd say.
Yeah, as we get to people, I just wrote down like the guy from this thing that I know.
Same.
Looked up their real name too. Yeah, Avenue 5 has 2 seasons, 17 episodes total. I think planned right now. I think it's still going though.
Yeah, season 2 is like currently coming out right now.
Yeah, season 2 is coming out. I think 5 episodes of season 2 are out. There were 9 episodes in season 1. I think it looked like there's only going to be 8 episodes of season 2.
Okay.
And new episodes are released on Mondays, it looks like, which is a weird day.
Yeah. That is a weird day. Especially HBO. I feel like everything comes out on Sunday on HBO. But...
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe I just have that wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Mondays. Yeah, so not too long.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if there's going to be a 3rd season. I did not look that up. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen the 1st season. I haven't started on the 2nd season yet because I figured, as what usually happens is after we're starting to watch the first 2 episodes of a show for this podcast, I just end up rewatching the show. So I might as well just rewatch this and then move on to the 2nd season.
I've done that for a few things. I did that for Food Wars and Money Heist. I did that for my own, yeah.
Usually it's for my own, yeah. I end up rewatching a bunch.
The new shows I haven't watched, I also watch those. But
oh yeah,
yeah, that's all I got. I think this show's, you can tell what this show's, how ridiculous this show's going to be just already.
The first thing when I heard about this show, it just made me think of WALL-E, where they finally find the humans on that big spaceship that's just out in space, except there aren't any chairs that everybody just stays in all the time. It's very pacified in. We have a lot more active passengers, we'll say.
Yeah. I thought of Passengers, the movie, when I read this. But that's not a comedy. But the idea that you're like stuck on a ship for way longer than you anticipated, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Way worse situation in Passengers.
Yeah.
Although they don't get into it in the first 2 episodes of the show, but I would imagine that, a cruise ship that was only supposed to be like, what was it, like 8 weeks or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then going to 3 years, like maybe you'd run out of food or something.
Yeah.
Which wasn't an issue for the passengers people.
Yeah. They didn't get into that in these first 2 episodes, and I actually can't recall if it gets into that. I feel like they always have bigger, more shenanigan-y things to worry about than like food in this show, but I'll remember after I rewatch it.
All right. Are we ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
All right. Episode 1. Said we're doing the first 2 episodes of the show?
First 2 episodes.
Okay.
Unless you get through halfway through and really don't want to continue, I guess we can stop. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll see.
Oh, now I'm worried you're going to take me up on that. Well, okay.
Episode 1. We start in space, and the camera is like floating in space as a ship goes by. And at the bottom of the screen, it says Maiden, 8-week cruise round Saturn. And I just wrote in my notes, Sarah, giant penis shaped space cruise ship.
Yeah, that's appropriate. I said that it kind of looks like a bullet train, but yeah, it's a big golden phallic ship. Yeah, it's fair. And it does say Avenue 5 on the side of it.
Oh, it does? Okay. Why does it say Maiden
I
then?
think it's the maiden voyage of Avenue 5, that particular ship.
Oh, it's the Voyage. Like it's like a hurricane name kind of thing? Like,
No,
start
no, no.
with
It's
an
just the first time that this ship has gone out, so they'll call that like the maiden voyage of a ship.
Oh,
the
that's
first
a
time it
thing? Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
You mean you're not up on ship terminology? Jeez.
I thought it was like, oh, this is like the 13th time that it's doing this. Because it's M is the 13th letter. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
I see, I see.
and who's the first character we meet?
Well, there is one little more thing.
Oh,
We do get
okay.
a day 25. So we're
Oh,
25
I missed
days to
that.
this
Okay.
8-week cruise. But the first we see, like, we're on the bridge of the ship and we see the captain. And the captain is Hugh Laurie, is the actor's name. He is House from House.
Yeah. I don't watch House, but I know that he's
Yeah.
House. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it because he's British. I've seen a lot of he's done like sketch shows in Britain. He's done a lot of stuff, but like he's most famous for being House. I think the captain's name is Ryan Clark, but like I just refer to him as the captain from here on out because I feel like nobody ever says his name.
Okay. I wrote Captain Ryan to start, but yeah, I think you're right. Does he have a British accent in House?
No.
Okay. That seemed like an insight. There's a joke that's going to come later from this. And
Yeah.
I thought like, okay, maybe this is like some sort of meta joke about him as an actor, but I wasn't familiar with it or not.
Well, I do feel like the thing he's most famous for, he's using an accent that isn't his. So, I think it's a nice parallel. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because, yeah, he is using an American accent in this scene when we see him.
Yes. And he's just like, telling what do you call this on a spaceship? What do you call the main piloting room?
The bridge, I think.
The bridge. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like couldn't come up with it in my head when I was writing my notes. So I was like, the space cockpit,
I mean, that's also maybe accurate,
the
sure.
deck. I was like, what? Okay, all right.
But yeah, he's
Bridge.
got
I
like a
like
bunch
bridge.
of crew around him, like if you've ever seen
Star
Star
Trek,
Trek or
yeah.
whatever, where they have all the different stations, and he's like, hey, how's the whatever? And hey, how's that thing?
Yeah,
And they're just like, yeah, it's good. But he has like a bunch of like tourists behind him, just kind of watching him, because this is like part of a show, basically. Like they let people onto the bridge to watch the captain the ship, and it's a very touristy, weird
I see.
experience.
Oh, so like the passengers can just like walk in. I guess that's what
Yeah.
happens here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they had like special permission to come in, but
You might have to like sign up for it or something, so they only let so many people in a day, but they have 8 weeks, so they
okay.
probably can get through most people.
it does
on
seem
the
like they
ship.
have like you can watch like live footage of the bridge at any time if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some dad and mom with their daughter come in, and the dad's all excited for his daughter to meet Captain Ryan because he's a hero. He saved Avenue 3.
Yes. And he's all like, oh, who, me? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a nice guy. He seems
Yeah.
nice.
He gives the like kid his captain's hat and like says that she has control of the bridge and she's allowed to push a button that doesn't actually do anything but makes her feel important or whatever. And he's like, he's good at the interpersonal stuff of like being the captain or whatever,
Yeah. But then he's gonna walk out from the bridge and he immediately runs into Iris. And this is weird. I couldn't tell in this moment if like Captain Ryan was like hitting on Iris immediately here. He said something like, surrounded by stars and still you shine, Iris, or something like that.
It felt to me like too much like he was hamming it up, just because like she is, we find out, like this very, I don't want to say uptight, but like she's not very verbose.
Serious.
She's serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not this like gregarious character that he is. So I think that's just their personalities butting up against each other, and he's just kind of teasing her
Yeah.
because he knows like she's gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
Her response to surrounded by stars and still you shine, Iris was noted.
Yeah.
That was funny. And Iris is gonna tell the captain that Mr. Judd is indisposed because apparently he's coming up with merchandise ideas.
Yeah, as she put it, he's fracking for some merchandise ideas and he just hit gas,
Okay.
which is apparently like a direct quote from him because like the captain's just like, "Oh, let me guess. That's what he said, right?" Like so they're already sort of setting up that maybe Mr. Judd's a little ridiculous and they both like acknowledge it together so they're in on the joke of the person, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And as they walk by, they're like basically walking through the ship and talking to each other. And as they're talking about Judd being indisposed, there's like a video advertisement on the wall in the background that says, it's a big picture of a guy you assume to be Judd. And it says, "You're with Judd now."
Yeah. These show up throughout the show
Yeah.
and I just love them.
Yeah, these random ads. Have you ever been on a cruise ship, Sarah?
I have not. I think the ocean is dark and full of terrors, and also I wouldn't want to be on a ship with that many people. Like that's not my vibe at all. But what about you?
I have not.
Do you think you ever would?
I don't have a desire to do it, no.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a big vacation guy. It doesn't. It seems like
Okay.
an interesting vacation, I guess, but
Okay.
more interesting than other ideas. But no, I'm not. I'm not. It's not like a bucket list item or anything like that for me.
Fair enough.
So Iris, at first I thought Iris was like, oh, the captain's assistant or something, but she's really like the assistant for Mr. Judd, right?
Yeah. I guess, but she feels like she has more power than you typically give an assistant,
Yeah.
you know, like
She's like is assistant slash babysitter.
yeah,
I
that
don't
feels
know.
more right. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell like who has more power between them, between Iris and Mr. Judd. I don't know.
Well, I think
In the
it's,
first
it's
episode,
more
it's kind
like
of hard to say.
he can't actually get things done on his own, but like he does own the company and so he does have the power, but like he's not capable of doing things, I think is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Let's just get to Mr. Judd and then we'll talk about Mr. Judd.
Okay, that's fair.
There's so many questions I have about Mr. Judd. But yeah, as they're walking through the hall, the captain is like very chummy with like everyone he's walking past. He's saying like
Yeah.
dorky lines to people.
Yeah, like set your phasers
Set
to
your
fun.
phasers to fun. All right, so that's the captain.
Yes.
And then they walk into like a big open space on the ship, and there's a yoga class going on.
Yes, apparently they just set the record for the biggest yoga class in space,
Yeah.
which is something.
Is yoga a normal thing on a cruise, Sarah?
Oh, solid maybe.
Probably, right?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't
I
there
guess.
be?
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to keep balance at sea. I don't know how wobbly are
Oh,
our
make it
cruise
makes the
ships.
yoga more intense, probably. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay.
makes sense.
You can do yoga at sea, then you know you're really good.
And then we're gonna cut to a couple who is getting in line for food.
Ooh,
Like a food
but
court or
there's
something.
another one of these videos that I love, and this is our first introduction to a character called Matt Spencer, who is Zach Woods, which is Jared from Silicon Valley. I think it was Gabe on The Office.
Gabe on The Office. Yeah, that's what I wrote.
That tall, awkward dude that is sometimes in shows.
Yeah.
But he's the customer support guy, and his video is like, "Welcome to the Judd Over Easy Breakfast Buffet. If you're not completely satisfied, you're wrong." And I just loved it. It's so silly.
These ads are good, yeah. But then we cut to this couple and the food, and they're bickering. They won't say sorry to each other about something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be Mia or Maya.
I think I went with Mia.
Mia and Doug. Mia is Jessica St. Clair. Are you familiar with Jessica St. Clair, Sarah?
Not by name, but I felt like I knew her face.
Yeah.
But then I didn't look her up because I got distracted by looking up Doug.
Oh, really? Okay, so you can do Doug. I'll do Mia.
Okay.
I'm not sure what she's best known for. But I feel like I've seen her and stuff, and she's like funny in whatever I see her in. What I do know she's in is this show called Playing House, which my wife thinks is hilarious. So
Okay.
I've seen episodes of that. But yeah, who is Doug?
Doug, well, he may have been in other things, but I needed to just know why I recognized him, and he plays Teddy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is
Oh, okay, there you go.
a guy the main character dates for a little while, and
I looked up what he was best known for, and it wasn't in his like top 4 or whatever. But I do recognize him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine now that you say that. Yeah.
But yeah, these folks are always arguing every time we see them, and I usually didn't take a lot of notes on them because it's just they're arguing. They don't like each other. They shouldn't be here together.
They hate each other, and it seems like the wife has cheated. Mia has cheated on Doug.
Yes.
And their deal is like they knew they were going to get divorced, but for some reason just decided to go on this cruise for reasons that didn't really make sense. But
yeah,
the funny moment from this for me was that they're arguing with each other, and then Doug is like, "Oh, I know what you want," and he like pulls up a picture of a guy on his like wristband screen.
Yeah, like everybody's phones are like on their
so,
giant watches.
And it's a picture of a guy, and he just like zooms in on his crotch to be like, "Oh, that's what you want. That's what you want." But also, I really feel like the picture of this guy on his wristband is Andrew Garfield.
Really?
The Amazing Spider-Man. I really feel like it was. I watched it like 3 times. Andrew Garfield does not have credit in this show, but I really feel like it was a picture of him, which was funny to me.
All right, I did not. I felt like I didn't get to see his face very long before it zoomed in on his crotch, but I'll take your word for it.
I really
now,
think it was Andrew Garfield.
in my head, if that's who it's gonna be, even if it's not in real life.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Basically, these two just hate each other. Second episode has a little bit of maybe there's something going on, intriguing with this couple. But first episode is just kind of like, yeah, they hate each other. Who's next that we meet?
Ooh, next we finally meet Herman Judd, who is played by Josh Gad, who I know best as Bear Claw from New Girl. He was in a couple episodes.
Yes,
played
I recognize
a silly
that,
character.
Yeah. He's also LeFou in
the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Live action Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
And he's Olaf in Frozen.
Olaf in Frozen is his main deal, I think.
Yeah. But for me, he will always be Bear Claw.
Oh, really? Okay. I just hear Olaf whenever he talks.
Okay, that's fair.
Before we actually get to this, though, I think we had another like advertisement on the wall. This one I wrote. This is the one I wrote down.
Go for it.
So it's Gabe from The Office on the wall again, aka Matt, and he's doing a video on the wall for an ad, and it says Judder Juice, the cocktail of the day. It's mostly milk. Or something like that. Sounds gross.
So silly. Yeah.
Sounds so gross. Judder
and
juice.
I just realized that I guess it's because Judder rhymes with udder, and that's
you're just
extra
realizing
gross?
that? That's
I
what
just realized
Oh
it.
my god. So
For me,
gross.
just the concept of a cocktail that is mostly made of milk turned me off, but the extra layer hit me right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah. It also doesn't not sound like it's Judd's milk. So
yes, also true.
That's also where my mind went.
So many layers of grossness in this cocktail. But yeah,
then we meet Judd.
Yes, then we finally meet Judd. He's like coming down the stairs, and there's this like cleaning woman who is buffing a statue, basically. Like she's cleaning off its butt, basically. And he's just like trying to talk to her about how he likes it when people take pride in their work, even if it's menial. But he wouldn't call it menial, but whatever. And then like he goes to shake her hand, but see she's wearing gloves. It goes, oh no, forget it. And it's just a very awkward interaction.
Yeah, is douchey the right word for this guy or no? I couldn't decide. What is the word to describe
he
him?
is douchey. I think there's many words you could use. We find him, I think, to be very incompetent. Maybe just a rich idiot.
Yeah, he's like a rich guy who thinks all his ideas are gold. Mm-hmm. But it also seems like his ideas must not be terrible because it doesn't. Well, I guess we'll get into it later, but it doesn't seem like they're like not listening to him. Like his ideas actually get used, and he does have a successful company. So
yeah,
I can't tell if he's totally useless or not.
I feel like he probably either started with a good idea at one point or managed to surround himself with enough people that like took his nonsense ideas and turned them into something not shit that it worked out. And over time, he's gotten more and more yes men around him. And so everything's just a little bit worse because they're actually listening to his terrible ideas.
Also, my question about Judd, because we're going to find out that basically Judd owns this company called Judd Galaxy.
Yes.
Which runs these, I'm assuming, multiple cruise ships
I
to
would
outer
assume
space.
at least 4 others, yeah.
Yeah. Why is Judd on this ship?
I think it is because it is the maiden voyage
Oh,
of
it's
this
the
one.
maiden voyage. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I did not understand at the beginning. Okay.
And maybe it's a different route than the other ones. I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
maybe. Still seems a little unnecessary, but
yeah.
I guess he wants to be there to. His goal basically on the ship is to try to like drain as much money as possible out of the passengers'
Yes.
pockets
Yes.
to make as much money. So he's like coming up with like micromanaging the restaurant lights,
Mhm.
and he wants people to do fast yoga instead of whatever yoga they're doing now because he wants them to burn more calories so they eat more food and stuff. Like really stupid micromanagement things to try to
But
get
the
people to spend
thing
money.
about the restaurant makes me giggle because he's like, I bet we'd sell more steaks if the restaurant was red. That's science, probably. And it's just
Yeah.
like, that science probably made me giggle.
But I'm pretty sure that actually is a thing though. Like
Is it?
isn't that why like McDonald's uses red and Wendy's uses red, and there's something about it, not specifically for steaks, but there's something about the color red and like making
It makes you hungry?
or
Okay.
salivate or something. I don't know. But these are kind of ridiculous ideas. And he's walking with Iris in this scene, so
And she does immediately have like the lights in the restaurant turn red. So like she does listen to the crazy stuff.
because he couldn't come to see the captain because he was like coming up with merchandise ideas, and then he's
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I came up with like a week's worth of ideas in 11 minutes, and then he's just like, here, make all the things I said in this recording happen, and he just like swipes them
Yes.
over to Iris. Yeah. So he's very much, he just talks and people do whatever he
Mhm.
comes up with, but it seems to be working, even though you think
think it
that wouldn't
should
be
at
that
all,
wouldn't be
yeah.
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we're gonna cut to Judd Galaxy Mission Control, which
Yes.
I assume is on Earth, but it is not 100% clear.
That is true. I also assumed Earth.
Could be anywhere. It takes place so far in the future, right?
Yeah, they never tell us what year. Ooh, but they are, when we get to the part where we see their route that they end up taking, they are trying to get back to Earth. So
Oh, that's true.
I think that this is probably on Earth.
That's true. Yeah. We're gonna get to a couple of things of like they just have like they mention ridiculous things that have happened in the
Yes.
past that would have to be in the future, but we don't know how far in the future.
Right.
We'll get to those when they come. Yeah, so I just wrote like, okay, there's like a team of people. They're monitoring the cruise ship. We get introduced to some goofy characters here, I guess. How do you describe this character that we get to meet at Mission Control?
Rav, she looks like she's the woman in charge of the big control room, and I'd say she's overwhelmed in that like there's always a bunch of shit she has to deal with, but also there are some tourists she has to like show around for whatever reason. So like she's like giving them a little tour and interrupting herself to be like, "Oh, no, is that thing okay? Okay." And then yeah, I don't know, doing her best probably, but seems like she's in a silly situation.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a joke or like I don't know. It was kind of weird humor the way she had to like interrupt her own tour to do official things.
I feel like weird humor is probably the vibe for a lot of this, which is probably why I like it.
I would almost categorize a lot of it as like British humor, even though it's an American show.
Ooh, well, she has in Andor when he goes to that like strip club or whatever at the very beginning, and all the women have that like really flat top hair.
Oh yeah,
but like her hair's a little bit like that, and I was like, oh, this is just future hair, fun.
Okay.
It's not quite to the extreme, but it's a little similar, and I like it.
Okay. Most people don't have weird hair in the show, though. It's just
I know. Well, and it's not particularly weird. Like it's a softer, more like natural version of that, but it just made me think of Andor and the fun flat topped hair that I liked.
Yeah. And these people that she's giving a tour to, are these random civilians or are they actually like friends and family of people that are on the cruise?
Yeah, it wasn't clear. She did like when she's giving the tour, she says something about like, yeah, this is how we keep your loved ones safe or whatever. So it sounds like they are family members.
I wasn't sure if like their loved ones are actually on the ship or your theoretical loved ones if you and them were to go on the ship in the future.
Yeah, it
I
is.
couldn't tell.
It's a little unclear.
Okay. feel like the second one is more likely, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's funnier if it's the
I don't
first
know.
one though. It's funnier if it's actually their family members for what's gonna happen in a little bit.
Yeah, I think that is why it might actually be the family members.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because they do a little like video call to the ship, and I guess that's the reason why. I don't know. Well, we didn't get to that yet. That comes a little later, but like maybe the video call is like because this is a long ass cruise. Like it's 2 months. I don't know why you would go on a cruise for 2 months, but like it
Yeah.
might be like the only time they could maybe wave at their family or something. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, cruises aren't usually 2 months, are they?
Well, they're also not usually in space, and that probably takes a lot longer, and that's why it's so long. I don't know.
Okay.
It's unclear.
I have no experience with how long a cruise should take, so
I think like a week, 2 weeks. Those are normal times
okay.
for
That
for
does seem more
cruises.
reasonable, yeah.
Yeah.
The scene we get before we go back to Mission Control though is
Yes.
Matt, aka Gabe from The Office. I only see Gabe from The Office.
I only see Jared from Silicon Valley. So.
Especially after this scene. He's
Mm.
such a Gabe from The Office in this scene.
I think he only really like there is one type of character he plays, and he does it very, very well. And like I
Yeah.
think that's just always who he is.
I guess it is, yeah, Silicon Valley is kind of similar too.
He's got that weird, like, gonna reveal some sad fact about his past, but he's super optimistic and upbeat anyway, and it's fine.
Yeah. But this scene has Gabe from The Office, who is helping David Wallace from The Office and
Yes.
his wife fix the window in the bedroom, which is actually just like a video screen that's stuck on and showing like industrial like factories for some reason. I don't know why that's an
and
option.
Air pollution, yeah, because
Yeah,
that's what
what
you'd
the
love
hell?
to have a view of.
Yeah.
But it is important to note that the wife's name is literally Karen, and they're like, this is all you need to know about her. Like, she will follow through on this name.
What, does Karen mean anything? What
Oh,
do you mean?
have you not heard of this term of like somebody being a Karen? It's the I need to talk to your manager person.
Oh no.
Being all very up and
That's a
well,
thing.
that's a thing. Wow.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised this has been a thing for a while, but okay.
Okay.
But yeah, she's a I want to talk to your manager person.
Yeah, this is Frank and Karen. Karen's the bigger character
Oh
so
yeah.
far, even though I recognize David Wallace from The Office. But yeah, so Matt is there to help them, but he's
To
not
try to
very
fix the
helpful at all
screen,
because
yeah.
he's not a tech person or anything like that.
Yep.
And this whole scene just reminded me of the episode of The Office where Dwight like went down to Florida to try to like interview for a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gabe is like down there and he gets, I think Robert California just like tells him like, hey, Dwight, we don't want to talk to Dwight. Just like listen to his pitch and then send him back to Scranton.
Yeah.
And then Gabe just basically tells Dwight that he's like, I'm the equivalent of a human toilet or something. And that's basically this entire scene. It's just him playing the same character again.
Yes.
Where he's like, his goal is not to fix the problem that they're having. It's only to diffuse their, how did he say it? Like diffuse their
Oh, I forget
annoyances
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
But he is a little snarkier in this role than he is in The Office or Silicon Valley, because like Karen goes, well, but we paid for a space cruise, and he's like, well, technically your sister paid for a non-transferable ticket, and then you're basically stowaways. Like he's giving her a little bit of shit about like why they're on this cruise, and so it's not entirely a human toilet. Although he does reveal he slept in porta potties at music festivals, so he's familiar with stowaway culture. But whatever.
No, he's as much of a jerk, like asshole to Dwight in that scenario too. So. It's pretty similar, really.
That's fair.
But yeah, but then somebody comes in and is complaining about something else. And he's like, oh, duty calls. And he tries to leave.
Yep.
But then Karen's like, I will be circling back around with you in an hour.
And Frank's just there like, she's insistent. She gets things done. Like,
Yeah. And then Matt says, great, I'm very absorbent. And they
then
both do
just
not
like,
know what that
"What?"
means.
I also don't know what that means.
It means
but
he's
sure.
absorbent. It's exactly what it means. He's just there to take people's complaints
Mhm.
and do nothing with them.
He is
Keep-
my favorite part
Keep
of the show.
absorbing and going, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He's great.
I'll tell you who my favorite is after this episode.
Okay. Fair enough.
But back at Judd Galaxy Mission Control.
Yes, they are gonna do this video call with the I guess it's the atrium of the ship where the big yoga class was, because the captain's in there, Judd's in there, and they start the video, and Rav and everybody in Mission Control says hi, and then they have to wait for a delay because that's how space works, you know. It takes a while for communications to get back and forth. So she just starts like telling them about the ship while they're waiting for the ship to be able to respond. And for whatever reason, there's a big spinning platform in the middle of this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just starts spinning and walking around, and she's like on it while trying to point out different parts of the ship. And it's weird. I just every part of everything in this show is like there's the functional layer, and then there's this like presentational layer on top of it to like make it commercialized and like a quote unquote experience for tourists or whatever, which is weird.
This whole first scene with Rab was just weird to me. The delay is 26 seconds.
Yes.
So yeah, she's just like trying to half-ass give a decent tour, and she's just like, oh, this is a room on the ship, and here's another room on the ship. like it's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, right before they did the video call, he was like, do these know anything? And she was referring to like the people on the tour. And she said it right in front of them. And then the guy was like, the civilians know about the delay. She's like, great. Do these know anything?
Which is I mean, I think it speaks well of those civilians, because they understand the delay, because now we get back to Avenue 5 and we finally see that video of them waving hi, and Judd is there going like, wait, why did she stop talking? Well, why is this conversation not continuing? We just said hi back. And I think Iris is just like, there's the delay. And he's like, I thought you had somebody fixing this. And it's like, he does not get that it's not a fixable thing. It is just how the universe works. And this comes up over and over again, that he is just really frustrated with this delay and cannot understand that there's nothing to be done about it.
Yeah. They really milk this delay joke in the show.
Oh, yeah. So much.
So, at no point do they fix it so that the show can just like move on past this. It's like, nope. Every time there's a video call, the delay is going to be a factor.
And he's going to get even more annoyed every single time.
But while this video call is going on, something's going to go wrong.
But right before it goes wrong, we do see that there is somebody outside actually pretending to try and fix this delay. There's like a guy doing a spacewalk outside, and he's got a big drill, and I don't actually know what he's doing, but like,
yeah, what is this? Like the engineers, they all know that they can't fix the delay, but for some reason, like they have to have somebody go spacewalk out there just to pretend that they tried to fix it. They could just say that they tried. Like, what is this?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to go, hang out in space a little bit. It's got to be kind of cool to.
Maybe, but he wasn't. He was actually like screwdrivering and doing things. Like, he wasn't just having a good time.
It's unclear, but it was Joe who was outside, and he is talking to Billy, who is another engineer inside, and they're just kind of like, "Yep, here is Operation Complete Waste of Time." And while this is happening, there's an alarm that starts going off, and some screen says gravity flip. And the next we know, everybody is flung onto the wall / the window of this ship because gravity flipped for reasons that are unclear.
Yeah. Did you mention Billy?
Yes, Billy is
Billy's inside the engineer station. I don't know.
Yeah.
Engineer bridge. Yeah. So everybody in the atrium, I think they called it, with the yoga class. And there were a bunch of people there that were like getting ready to see a comet. So there was like a big group of people in the atrium, even compared to normal. Gravity goes from straight down to straight sideways. So they all just start smashing into the window.
Yeah, we get this shot from outside the window that's just like people pressed against it, covering this entire giant window, and it's ridiculous.
We get shots of like a bunch of different people throughout the ship that were like in the rooms that Rav had been pointing out. So this was kind of gross, but there was like a guy who was getting acupuncture.
Oh yeah, so of course he's like
and he's like back smack against the window.
Yeah, where all the like little needles are.
And then he's gonna get
he gets pummeled with a bunch of like hot rocks or whatever.
Rocks. Yeah, Jesus.
Just
from a sauna or something.
Yeah. He's having a bad day. Although I guess everyone on this ship is having a bad day.
Yeah, so many people should have died in this scenario. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like some of these
So
people
many.
basically had like, I don't know, like a 50-foot fall potentially,
Mhm.
right? If you were like on the far side of the room when the
Oh,
gravity
yeah.
switched. Not too many people died though.
Yes. But one person that definitely does is Joe, because he says, like, Billy's like climbing through the room trying to get to the button to fix the gravity. And he's like, all right, just give me a few seconds warning before you do this. And she doesn't. And so like he had been pushed far away from like out the ship, like his entire tether's worth of length, right? But so when she turns gravity on, he flings back the entire other way and like gets impaled on his drill or something. And that's, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but that's what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't, right? Like why why did the gravity inside the ship affect him? That was confusing to me.
But we do find out later that the whole ship is big enough that it has its own gravitational pull. But I would think that that wouldn't affect it. And it doesn't. Yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
the science makes no sense in this situation.
Yeah. It's just, it's what happens so that circumstances can be what they are
Yeah.
for funny times. That's all.
Yeah, okay. I was making sure I wasn't going
Yeah.
crazy, that this didn't make any sense. Yeah. So Joe is dead. No big
Yes.
deal though, right, Sarah?
Oh, yeah. It's
big
just
deal.
some random engineer.
There's
Shouldn't,
some
shouldn't
random
matter
guy.
that much.
It doesn't
right?
matter.
Yep.
But everybody, yeah, they fall. Now everybody falls from the window on the side of the ship back down to the floor.
Yes.
Meanwhile, at mission control,
They finally see everyone slam into the wall.
yeah, it's been 26 seconds, and now they start just seeing people smashing around inside the atrium. And this is when it's way funnier if these are the actual family members of the people on the ship.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then when they finally see everyone like fall back down, like there's one guy in mission control who's like, it's okay. The ground, the floors are soft in there. They're fine. It's fine. Like they're trying to calm all these people down.
Yeah, they're like, they're in the best hands possible. So many people should be dead, like I said.
Oh yeah. And it's complete chaos in there. There's a dog for some reason that I don't think we saw before this, but sure.
There's a lot of like, basically this show is like constant funny lines, or like a little bit like you'll see something in the background that is like contributing to the joke, or like it's almost like constant jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like it's impossible for us to talk about them all, but but like even like the captain here, when he's like walking around and like trying to keep everybody's spirits up, he says like funny things to people. Like he's like, oh, you're really flexible, and then he like looks back down again. Oh, it's broken. Like that's like stuff like that. like so many people have like broken their leg and stuff.
Oh yeah. There's actually a part later where Judd is in a meeting with Iris and they're going over like all the implications of this event, and he's just like, oh wow, that's a lot of broken legs. Like,
yeah.
The top thing on the list is this many broken legs.
Yeah. But Billy is gonna come out of the engineering situation. At this point, Billy actually does not know that Joe is dead. Like they were kind of like being snarky
real
with each
coy
other a
about
little
it,
bit.
yeah.
She like thought he was just like not talking to her or something. The way they did it was weird, but she basically comes to talk to the captain, and she's trying to explain the situation to him. But basically, the captain does not seem to understand physics. So
yeah, she's
this
like,
doesn't go well.
we're still trying to figure out how this impacts our course, and he's like, no, our course can't be impacted because we have a schedule. And like this gave me flashbacks to my last job, when like it would be like, oh yeah, we're delivering this on this date, right? Like this code's gonna be done. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not how time works. It's impossible. And they're just like, no, but that's when the deadline is, so it's happening.
Yeah. But Billy explains, she's like, hundreds of people smashing into the side of the spaceship is going to knock the spaceship off course. So we have to recalculate the trajectory.
And he just gets annoyed, and by the end of it, he's just leaving. He's like, this has been a terrible conversation.
He's also like, where's Joe?
Oh yeah, he's really insistent on finding Joe. He actually knows who Joe is.
Yeah. And Billy's like, well, somebody was out there doing the stupid thing for Judd. And
now I can't communicate with them.
I haven't been able to communicate them since the accident. And Captain is like, oh, who was it? He's like, please tell me it wasn't Joe.
And she's like, Mo?
It was Mo. very silly moment. This is
Yes,
a
yes,
very
definitely.
British humor moment here. Like, and then she's like, I mean, I mean Joe, right? He's like, ah, no, not Joe. I knew there one couldn't be Mo. We don't even have an engineer named Mo. So, yeah, Captain's very worried about Joe. That
Yes.
Joe is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where we go to the conversation between Judd and Iris,
Yes,
and they're talking
counting all the
about
broken
all the broken
legs.
legs.
And she's like, we should give them all like gift bags and free massages. And he's like, I am not Santa Claus. No. Like
Yeah,
he's very like still trying to like make this as profitable as possible.
yeah. And they both say like, she's like first priority, and they're like the customers, but then they're like second priority, the
Shareholders.
the
Yeah.
stockholders, yeah. And then Iris corrects him as like actual first priority.
And then they do a little fist bump, like evil.
Back in the game, yeah, like
Yeah.
evil fist bump together. Like, so they really, so Iris is on Team Judd here.
Yeah.
Took me a little while to get it, but she is on Team Judd.
I mean, she does think he's a ridiculous human, but she also is about that money, so it's fine, you know?
Yeah, and she never like it's not the dynamic that you would think it would be, where like he says something ridiculous and then she just does the actual like an actual good idea, and then Judd takes credit for it later. It's like she doesn't actually come up with any ideas. She just does stuff that Judd says, even though it seems ridiculous, and it just works, I guess. Or I can't
Or
tell
something,
this
yeah.
early on in the episode if like Judd's ideas are actually good. But she
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be contributing to the idea pool. She just does what Judd says
Mm-hmm.
and makes it happen. Because
Yeah.
Judd can't make stuff happen. he only
Yeah.
has ideas. And then I think we're back to Matt, and we find out he's the head of passenger services.
Yes. And he's like swarmed by a bunch of folks, and he's like telling them it'll be okay. Or we're not, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Because basically, this is way outside of his.
Yeah, there's
Well,
like nothing he can do about
yeah,
this.
exactly. Yeah, I think he's pretty funny in these moments, because it's like, yeah, what do you want me to say?
But yeah, Karen has found him and has joined this group, and she's starting to like rile the crowd up. Like over the course of the rest of this episode and the next episode, there is like, I feel like she gains a following amongst the passengers, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like trying to push him for information, and he's just like, I don't know anything. I have nothing for you.
Does Spike show up in this scene, or is that not till?
I don't write a lot about Spike because he's basically a non-character to me.
Oh, he's a non-character.
I
They
mean,
really
he's
set it
there,
up
I
like he
guess.
was somebody. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, he is a character, but he does not matter to me personally at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
You know, like, he is just an astronaut that hangs out on this ship to show people space, and he's
Okay.
just around. I don't know.
All right. Well, can I talk about him? And
You
then
can
we don't
absolutely
we don't have to
talk
talk about
about
him again. Okay. So Spike, he's an actual astronaut. He
Mhm.
was the 30th man to orbit Mars,
Yes.
and also the first Canadian to land on Mars, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
According to this lore. The actor is Ethan Phillips, who is Neelix on Star Trek Voyager, Sarah.
Yes, I definitely know who that is. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's also one of the clones in the movie The Island.
Oh, okay. I did see that, but it's been a while. Okay.
Yeah, he's one of like Ewing McGregor's clone friends, I believe.
Mm.
He's the one that's like he's like doing all the math on how the lottery system works. Like he thinks it's like a
Oh, yeah,
conspiracy. Yeah, okay. That's what I know from. He's gonna have some weird moments with Mia on the show. In these first
Yeah.
episodes. It seems like he's like trying to talk to Mia, but Mia once has nothing to do with him. I don't think it seems like Mia doesn't know who he is, but like Spike might know who Mia is, and I don't know if he's like her father or
Oh,
something.
I thought he was trying to like hit on her.
Oh, really? He's like a really old guy. I didn't take it that way.
I don't know. Sometimes.
I
That
guess
doesn't stop old guys. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess maybe he's recognizing that she's fighting with the husband, with Doug.
Yeah.
So maybe I took it as like, oh, he had some like secret connection with her that he was trying to. Well, you've watched the show.
don't
You
know.
tell me.
It's been a while. It's been a long
Oh,
time.
okay.
So I don't really remember exactly where that
All right.
goes, but I do think he's hitting on her.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not. Who knows?
Um,
Maybe I just think everybody's hitting on everybody. It's hard to tell.
That's enough about Spike. That's a character in the show.
But yeah, while all these people are here and this happens, the captain comes in and he's like, crisis averted. You know, like, It was a one-time weird gravity thing. We're gonna be fine. But behind him is the window, and they can see Joe floating in space, like clearly stabbed with a thing. And this is where Matt pops in again with a great line where he's like, if it's any consolation, he had very few loved ones.
Yeah, that's a good line. That was a good one.
He's my favorite. He's the best part of the show for me.
Ooh, yeah. Might go second best,
Okay.
but we'll
okay.
see.
All right. I'm excited to see who you like in this show.
And I think we go back to Mission Control. That's what I have next, right?
Yes.
And they are running the new trajectory, Sarah.
Yes. And it's real bad.
No, you're supposed to say, don't call it the new trajectory.
Oh, right. We liked the old trajectory, so let's just call it the trajectory.
Yeah, Rav is wants very specific lingo when people are talking about the trajectory.
But, call it whatever you want to. This ship is going to loop around the solar system a couple times.
Yeah, that's then, go around the sun multiple times now.
Yes. And they're like, they're watching it like draw out. It's not like suddenly it appears and they're like, oh, that's not so bad. Oh, no, why? Oh, it's around the sun. Oh, God, why is it still going? Yeah. And then we see that they have 1,095 days remaining on their trip, which is a lot of days.
But yeah, new trajectory is 3 years on top of the 25 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Judd is going to have a video call with Rav and Mission Control. And then this is where I wrote, they really are milking this 26 delay joke, like 26-second delay joke. Like, Judd is just so upset about it.
Mm-hmm. Just constantly, just like, I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this. He's about to just like give up on the whole situation because of this 20-second delay.
Yeah. And while they're waiting for the delay, then like the captain and Billy also come in. And Karen manages to like con her way into this meeting room just in time to hear that the new journey time is 3 years to get home. And she just turns around and is like, I shouldn't be here. Just leaves.
She ran away like she wouldn't tell anybody, but she's going to end up telling everybody.
Oh, yeah. She tells everybody.
Yeah. To me, it was a little off character. Like, I feel like a Karen would stay in the room and be like, what do you mean 3 years? Like, she would have like confronted the situation immediately. But
I think maybe the shock of it was just too much in that moment for her. I guess. She had to run away from it.
Yeah. We also find out that the moon is a jail now.
Oh, yeah.
In this universe.
And there's also a liquid glove, whatever that is. And that this may be the biggest disaster since Google folded. So, the future's taking some interesting turns.
But yeah, basically, Karen's going to run back. He's going to go back to the group that's like surrounding Matt at customer services. Mm-hmm. And she's going to break the news to everybody. That, it's going to be 3 years. Yep. And weirdly, Matt just believes her immediately, even though she has like no reason to know that.
Well, it was great because right before she does this, like everybody's still just like prodding at him, and he like just loses his shit a little bit and yells at them. And he's like, you know what? In 5 weeks, this journey's gonna be over, and I never have to see any of you again. So whatever. And then she says 3 years, and he just like breaks in a different way, and just starts laughing and is like, I just gave this speech about how I never have to see you again, and now we're stuck together for 3 years. And he points at Karen. He's like, "You're only here because your sister's toe was dumb or something or whatever caused her to not." It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, he starts pointing out that Karen's not even supposed to be here. Like she used a non-transferable ticket, and now she's screwed.
And yes, he just keeps laughing. And somebody like asks him what he's happy about, and he's like, "I'm a nihilist." And she's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Whatever." And it's just, it's so good.
Yeah, he just doesn't care anymore.
Yep, and that'll continue to produce the good funny lines throughout this whole show because he's just given up.
Everybody's freaking out, Sarah.
Yes.
But we're going to go back to the dream team.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, of course, Judd, Iris, Captain Ryan, and Billy in the office room. I don't know what this room is.
I think it's like a conference room.
Conference room, yeah, I guess.
But we quickly find out that everybody except for Billy is kind of dumb when it comes to space, physics, any kind of logical...
Yeah. Not just everybody in this room. Everybody on the
everybody
ship.
in the ship, yeah.
But
like she's trying to explain like just basic concepts like how a teeny little bit off course makes everything terrible.
Yeah.
And like Judd's like, "Oh no, it's fine. we'll just mess with gravity again and throw everybody against the other wall, and that'll fix everything. And she's just like, no, we need to slingshot around this planet. We missed it.
Yeah, I feel like that actually wasn't the worst idea.
I mean, except for all the broken legs.
Yeah, it has other terrible implications. But if like the goal was just like get back on track, I feel like there's a chance it would work. I don't know how you would control it, but the reason that actually wouldn't work is because like I think Billy, right before the accident, she said like, "Oh, we're set to make the turn around Titan in like 3 minutes."
Yeah.
So they got knocked off course right before they were supposed to
slingshot.
Yeah, slingshot around Titan. So now like if they even did correct the ship to turn back, it would still miss the turn.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were just like floating straight in space, you could theoretically do what Judd was saying. I feel like it wasn't the worst. It was probably one of his better ideas out of all his ideas.
It's true. So Judd pushes hard on Captain Ryan. He's like, "You're the hero from Avenue 3. Like, come on, you gotta get us out of this." And at this point, Captain Ryan basically breaks, and he's like, in a British accent now, was talking about how the fire was put out by firefighters. He didn't do anything. He just stood there in a nice hat and comforted people. He is not equipped for this. And everybody's just like, what happened to your voice? What?
Yeah. This seemed to be like a meta joke about the actor that plays House.
Yeah, probably.
Does he ever just go full British for the show, or is he?
I think I want to say he maintains the facade.
Does everybody ever figure out that he's not?
Probably. Again, it's been a while since I watched the whole first season.
What we're gonna find out is that not only does he have a British accent or an English accent, he's also not a real captain.
Yes, because this is basically a driverless ship. He's just there to make people feel better that there's a captain hanging around.
Yeah, he's basically just hired to make the passengers feel better, to have a cool, calm and collected captain on their video screens.
Uses the American accent just because it reassures people better than the British accent for whatever reason. And it turns out like Joe was essentially the closest thing to a real captain. So it's a bummer that he died.
Yep, they're screwed. And then I think we find out that Billy is like next in command. She's like technically the captain now, and she had no idea. I don't know. Was Billy in on the fact that she didn't know that Captain Ryan wasn't a real captain, right? You would think as an engineer she would know, like, oh, there's no reason for anybody to be captaining the ship, but I don't know. I don't fully get that.
She's more in the know than other people, but like she's still visibly upset at him, like that he has been faking being a captain.
Yeah.
Like I think she thought he knew more than he does.
Yeah. It's a little weird. I don't understand how any of the engineers on the ship would think that the captain was doing anything. I don't know.
They might think that he's not doing anything, like he's not necessary, but that he would still know something. So if something really went wrong, then he could actually be helpful.
Yeah. My other question is like, so there was that whole bridge area where the captain was like, there's a whole bunch of people, like Star Trek people, like doing the controls and stuff. Is that all not real?
We find out in a later episode that those are all actors, and he didn't even know that they were actors.
Oh,
like,
really?
He thought they were
I figured the whole situation was acting if he was not real. Because he even says, when he says to the girl, like, oh, you can like clear the thrusters or whatever and press the button, and then he's like, don't worry, the button doesn't do anything. Like, it actually doesn't do anything. He wasn't just like pretending.
I think he thought that there was a button just for kids to push, that doesn't do everything, but then everything else was
every
real.
Button in there doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's all fake.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah. So Captain Ryan is not going to be useful in this meeting anymore, so he just leaves and he's like, I'm going to go reassure the passengers and the crew that we are okay. Yep. And he just goes and
that's what he can
lies
do.
To people, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, he just goes like straight back to the bridge and just does his like acting role again.
Yeah, he's reassuring these actors he doesn't know are actors. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be okay. If we pull together, we can do this. Yeah,
and then they pull up the bridge screen in the conference room so they can watch. And Judd is like, man, he really knows what he's doing. And then they're both like, what do you mean? He literally just told us he can't. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he's like, oh, yeah, he doesn't. I forgot. Oh, so ridiculous.
Yes. And then he's about to go back to the atrium to address all the passengers and I guess tell them about the new trajectory, but he doesn't get to. That the episode ends. It's kind of a weird point where it ends.
Yeah, it was weird.
Just ends.
But yeah.
So far, in on this show, too Britishy humor for you? How do you feel after one episode?
Yeah, like I said, there's so many jokes and funny moments in the show that it's hard to like talk about them all.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this show was like funnier than maybe how we just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh Gad, aka Judd, is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great in this role. Yeah.
Some stuff he's like too ridiculous, but this is like the right amount of ridiculous for the ridiculousness of this show. I feel it's like a really good cast. There are so many like great comedy actors in this show.
Yes.
And you know what, Sarah? I feel like we don't even have to talk about episode 2, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
Because I am in.
Wow. I honestly didn't think that was going to be true.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It is very, or like, it is a little like British style humor at times. In a way that I do think is awkward, but for some reason, I guess maybe because I'm familiar with these actors or something, it's like funny enough. Like even like the bad jokes are funny enough, are still entertaining, and then there are good funny like actual funny jokes as well, mixed in. But it's basically like nonstop, just trying to make jokes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I was worried. When I said that we should do this, I hadn't gotten to rewatch the first couple episodes, which I usually try to do before I actually recommend it on the show. But so then when I watched it to take notes, I was like, oh no, maybe this isn't. Maybe James is gonna hate this. Maybe it's too dry. Maybe it's too Britishy. But I'm glad it worked for you anyway.
It's almost like it's not dark humor, but it's like, I mean,
it's a little.
Nobody really gets a win on this show. Like everybody just kind of sucks to some degree, and the jokes are kind of about how everybody sucks.
I would say Billy doesn't suck. Like she is competent, and knows what she's doing.
But she's also not really the character making jokes ever.
Yeah.
So the jokes are kind of centered around, oh, this is funny because this person sucks, which I feel like is kind of the staple of British humor. Like, it's not necessarily positive jokes. It's all like poking fun at people jokes. But yeah, I don't know, it works for me. I'm in.
Nice.
I did watch the second episode. I did not take as thorough notes for the second episode.
Yeah. I
don't really feel like we need to talk about it.
I agree. That's if you're in on it on the first episode, then it did its job.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about from the second episode? Okay. I'll talk about some dynamics that I thought were weird.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
That come up. Somehow, at some point, like Mia starts. There's a scene with like Rav at Mission Control, and her like phone is ringing, and she looks down, and it's a call from Mia.
Yes.
And it's like actually Mia from the ship, Avenue 5.
Correct.
But Rav is just like not answering the call.
Yeah.
Because like she doesn't want to talk to her, and then at some point she like uses somebody else's phone to call her, and she does answer. But once she figures out it's Mia, she like hangs up. And then there's also a dynamic where like Rav got Mia and Doug the tickets for the ship.
Yeah, I think she's like a friend and was like, hey, I have so many tickets I could give away or whatever. And maybe if you guys go on a cruise, you can fix your broken ass relationship or something.
Okay, that's all it was. But they're not like good enough friends that she's willing to answer, like talk to her on the phone.
I think right now she's very busy and doesn't want to get yelled at by her friend who she knows is going to yell at her.
Oh, you think that's all it is? Oh, okay.
I think that might be it.
I thought there might be some more complicated dynamics going on here, but
there might be. I don't remember. I'll have to rewatch this.
But would there be a 20-second delay on a phone call? Like they're calling her with like
seem like
the equivalent
there
of a
is,
cell
though,
phone,
right? Yeah,
they're using cell phones. Like
it doesn't
so
make
far
any
away.
sense.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a delay on cell phone.
If Judd had been using a cell phone, then there definitely would be a delay, just so they could come back to him being angry about a delay.
If they just didn't do video calls, there wouldn't be a delay. That's so easy to solve. Technology in the show makes no sense, but I guess that adds to the ridiculousness of it. What else do I have? Basically, the dynamic in the second episode is that some random ass engineer, I guess, that we didn't meet in the first episode, is just gonna like go to the captain and be like, "Oh, I recalculated my trajectories, and it's only gonna take 6 months." And then they just
Yes.
go around telling everybody, like, "Hey, I'm hearing it's only 6 months now." Like,
Even though
it's
Billy's like,
really
that
weird.
guy, you can't trust, like, he always over exaggerates. Like, we need to like, his math doesn't make sense. We should figure this out before we tell anybody. But just like, no, we should tell everybody immediately.
Yeah. Even the captain just like tells Karen again, even though she's
Oh, yeah.
clearly going to blab to everybody.
He tells Karen
It's
before he
so
tells
weird.
Judd. Like, he's just like, oh, yeah, hey, what's up? 6 months,
Yeah.
calm down.
Oh, and then like you said, we're gonna find out they launched Joe in like Judd's, I guess, like super like golden coffin that he has with him all the
Yeah.
time, and they shoot him into space, but the coffin is so heavy that it doesn't go very far with whatever like air pressure was like
Yeah.
put on it, and then which I'm not sure if that science makes sense, and then
No,
so
it
it just like
doesn't.
slowly rolls out of the thing, and then because the ship is so big.
It starts
It
orbiting
starts
the ship.
orbiting. So there's just a dead guy in a coffin orbiting the giant penis ship now.
Yep.
And then like three more people that died in the accident. They put them in like lighter coffins, but then
But they're
there's
like
like
clear
shenanigans.
boxes.
They're clear boxes, yeah, and they're not very secure. And they through whatever shenanigans that happen, like they go to launch them into space, but like the power shuts down right as the door opens, so they don't get like pushed out. I don't know why that makes sense, but and basically they
Yeah,
don't get
it's
pushed far
weird.
enough, and then there's like three more dead bodies that are now circling
Yeah,
the
so it's just
ship.
like every hour, if you're looking out this one window, you're gonna see four coffins go by, and
Yeah,
it's just
and the coffins
oof.
with the cheaper coffins, the clear coffins, like I'm pretty sure like the bodies are like half hanging out of the
Yeah, because
coffin.
like
They
they bumped
broke.
around when they were. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like somebody even yells like zombies when they first see them. Like it's a whole.
yeah.
It's not great.
We find out that NASA still exists in
Oh
this
yeah,
world, and they're gonna
yes.
try to work with NASA to help Avenue 5, but it's like gonna cost Judge's company so much money that he really doesn't want to. And then when he hears
Hmm.
that it's 6 months, he just like he just like says like, "We don't need you, NASA, you bunch of assholes," or something
Yep.
on the video call.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's when he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna talk, because of the delay or whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so we got new numbers. It's 6 months. NASA, you can suck it. I'm gonna eat this protein ball while I wait for the delay. Whatever. And he just
We
kind of
he says
leaves.
we solved it ourselves. It's 6 months now. He has no idea like why it's 6 months or what the science is behind
Yep.
it. It just somebody said that it could only be 6 months. It's so stupid.
Yeah, he does say in this episode, like, this is how you get stuff done. You find somebody that will say that it can be done, and then you make them say that it will be done. It's like, okay, sure, Chad.
This actually gave me like what's the movie about like the asteroid that's gonna hit the planet? It's on Netflix, but it's like
Um,
they convince people that
oh, the
it with
one that's
Jennifer Lawrence
too
and
real. Yes.
Don't Look Up.
Don't
Don't
look
Look
up.
Up.
That's
That's
what it
it
is. Yeah.
reminded me of Don't Look Up, which is like actually like a very depressing like dark
Yes.
comedy movie like based on the current state of politics in
Mm-hmm.
in America, where like if somebody just like says something like people just believe it basically.
Unless it's, the science that needs people to pay attention to it, then they just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie basically like there's these scientists who are saying like, hey, we found a comet that's on collision course to Earth, and Earth is going to get destroyed unless we do something. And then they go to like the president of the United States, and the president of the United States like, nope, that's not good for my poll numbers. We're just gonna like we're
Yep.
just gonna
Just gonna
tell
ignore that.
people, yeah. And then they try to like leak the story, and then they make them look like they're crazy scientists, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
they convince people like, hey, don't even look in the sky, it's not even real. Like even when the meteor is like coming and you can see it, it's
Yeah.
closer to see. Yeah, just don't look up. It's not a real asteroid, and
Mm-hmm.
people just believe it. That's what this reminded me of. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Definitely.
somebody told them it's 6 months and we're gonna be okay, and they were just like, "Yep, we don't need any help now. We figured it out." So ridiculous. That's basically it. Episode 2.
Yeah.
It ends with like Karen, like you kind of set up as like she's gonna like get fed up, and eventually like she's gonna try to like rally the people to fight back, but like, what the
Oh
what are
yeah,
they
there's a
fighting
lot
back
of
against?
chanting at the episode.
Also very ridiculous.
Yes. She does say something like, "We will no longer be treated like cattle," if anyone remembers what that is.
Yeah,
This apparently does not exist in the future.
is she old enough to remember what that is? I don't know.
I
Or
don't think
is it
so.
in history books? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, still in after episode 2.
Nice. Cool.
Anything else?
No, I'm curious about what you're picking for next time.
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
We done? Are we done with
Yeah, I
we
think
done with
it's
Avenue
great.
5?
I
Two thumbs
think
up.
2 thumbs up.
We should really have a thumbs up system on this podcast.
Oh, there we go. Well, I guess we always assume at least 1 thumb up, right? Whoever was recommending.
I would hope. You said you might not do that.
That's true. I might pull shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a 1 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up
2
podcast.
thumbs up. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna like it, I think. Okay. I guess we're done with Avenue 5. You ready for next time?
I am. Well, I mean, that depends on what you say we're going to listen and watch next time.
Oh, I think
I'm ready
you'll like
to hear,
this.
though.
Why not?
Okay.
We're talking TVY7 content here.
Uh-huh.
Also on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna watch Carmen Sandiego,
Ooh, okay.
but not to be confused with Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego from the 90s.
So no barbershop quartet sweet intro. Okay.
I'll take your word for it. I think I watched the 90s show. Like I was looking at pictures of it earlier, and it looked familiar, but I could not tell you like any of the dynamics of that show or what.
I mean, it was
anything
just
at all.
it was a children's game show where they went on and like asked them questions about geography and shit.
Oh, there was? Okay,
Yeah.
that's not even this. This is like an animated series, I thought. Unless there's like animated scenes in the game show.
Solid maybe. So here's the thing, like it was originally like a game that I played the crap out
I
of as a
played
child.
some Carmen Sandiego computer games.
Yeah.
CD-ROMs.
Oh, yeah, back in the day. Yeah, I remember the game show. I don't know if I remember an animated show. Well, regardless, there's an animated show now, and that's what we're going to watch.
Yes. Carmen Sandiego. We're watching the 2019 to 2021 Carmen Sandiego
All
on
right.
Netflix.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm not going to tell you anything about it other than it's rated TVY7
Okay.
because I feel like it might. I really don't know the history of Carmen Sandiego in terms of how she is represented on the shows that she's in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's a villain, right? Like, isn't she? Like, she's stealing stuff or
I
something?
think so, yeah.
Because I think that's what the game was. Like, you had to, like, solve geography problems to figure out where she was to catch her before she stole something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. May or may not be a different dynamic
Okay.
in the new Carmen Sandiego.
Interesting. She's turned over a new leaf, maybe? She's no longer a villain?
Oof. I think it's
Oof.
just brand new
Okay.
timeline. Brand new timeline on Carmen Sandiego.
Okay, okay. No dark,
I had to
mysterious
guess.
past. All right.
It's the TVY7 universe, Carmen Sandiego.
I've gone too dark already. I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. I do have that song stuck in my head now, though.
I don't even know what it is. That's how little I know. Okay, nice. We're done.
Cool.
Where can people contact us, Sarah?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com. They can tweet at us, at least for now, at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment on YouTube at keepwatchingpod. And if anybody's feeling spicy, I guess they could leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Yep. There we go. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.